this anymore. I'm done with the games, quit playing. I'm over it. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Oh, yeah, I gotta let you go. Oh, yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Summer fun, summer fun. I saw you right up in the summertime. I tried to make you mine, it wouldn't work. Put in work, I had to push you first. I lost my mind, went berserk. I feel like Uzi Vert. Vivian Westwood chain hanging right around my neck. Balenciaga kicks 44 when I step. Summer fun, I saw you right up in the summertime. But now I stay inside all the time, wasting away, waiting for you to call one more time. Without you here, can't sleep, can't breathe. I need you here, right next to me. Thoughts in my head, racing. We can't go on like this anymore. I'm done with the games, quit playing. I'm over it. So I had to let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Hey, yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. I've been up for 3 nights. My eyes are bloodshot red. Damn, I wanna see the sunshine.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to TTML Division 1. We are here for Season 4, Round number 7 of the Championship as we take in the Russian Grand Prix from the Sochi Autodrome. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always, and joining me in the commentary box as always, it is Mr. Luke Etheridge. Luke, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Good evening, James. Good evening, everyone that is watching Russia. I think one thing we can guarantee tonight is track limit penalties. You will see a lot around this circuit, around the Winter Olympic Park that was used for the 2014 games, and it could be a decisive moment in the championship. All the drivers, it's starting to look very good for Zhao Zhao now. He's 44 points ahead with 4 races to go after taking a victory last time around. They're going to have to go some to stop him taking this championship.
They are going to have to go some ways taking this championship indeed. And just before we get in towards the standings and everything else, I'll remind you of what happened last week in Belgium, because there's been quite a few reports actually coming through from the stewards. Combi got 10 seconds, Eltig, I should say, got 10 seconds worth of time penalties and 15 penalty points with no footage. Dangerous driving and a dive bomb hitting into Combi, running down on lap 2. Zhao Zhao was incident 2 with Perpetuum. 5 second time for the penalty points to Perpetuum. He overtook under the safety car, and he overtakes Zhao Zhao before the start-finish line and keeps the position, gaining the last advantage. And a reprimand given to effect. He failed to comply with the TAS regulations, an incorrect number used, and his clemency was not set to public, so hopefully that's been rectified tonight. Dobby and Perpetuum, the only position changes last time out. Dobby gaining 1 up P5, Perpetuum down into P6, and Elting's penalty will carry over to the next race as he DNF'd last week, of course, in Belgium. And coming from Belgium, of course, Zhao Zhao leads the way in the championship on 137 points. Got more than a race victory ahead of Perpetuum, so will remain championship leader regardless of what happens here tonight. Perpetuum is in second on 93 points, Carlsbury in third on 85, Miklas fourth on 68, with Sorensen on 58 in fifth, Kumbly in sixth on 57, Lemon in seventh on 55, Amadi in eighth on 54, Yul Milmat and Dobby round off the top 10, both on 52 points. Looking down the rest of the field, of course, we have Venoms in 11th on 49, Santeri in 12th on 47, Hyper 13th on 43, Tim 14th on 27, Combi 15th on 23, Sven and Nathan ran off the top 16 on 22 points, Nicholas in 18th on 17, Bashiwa 9th on 15, and Volbegan 20th on 13 points. And Luke, Jajo's got commanding advantage coming into tonight. Surely nobody can stop him.
You'd think that. You'd definitely think that. And with the way the scoring system works at TTML, I think he's just got to make sure he scores points. Scoring regular, good points, he should be perfectly fine, because it's not like there's been anyone behind him who's really looked as though they're going to be able to take a candle to him and be able to battle consistency. I mean, he's had 4 podiums out of the 6 races. No one else has even had 3 podiums so far yet. Perpetuum, the man's second ever championship, his only podium was that victory in Canada, the reigning champion, and he's not really caught up in the last couple of races. Let's not forget he was battling with Zhao Zhao at one point last week, and it all went wrong for Perpetuum. Zhao Zhao called the strategy absolutely right. It's just things seem to go well for Zhao Zhao. He loves the wet conditions. We've had quite a few wet races so far this year, and he just doesn't really seem to make many mistakes. Canada was a bit of a bad time for him, but he still managed to get to the checkered flag. Still got 7th place. Still got 13 points. That's not to say we're not going to see some fantastic, exciting action. It's just, I don't see anyone being able to step it up consistently enough now to be able to beat him.
Yeah, Jojo, of course, 4 wins and 4 podiums to his name this season, even more commanding, I think, in terms of the championship. And Perpetuum and Carlsbury, yeah, they're quite close, but they haven't really responded to Jojo's pressure that he's really applied on the rest of the field to try and catch him coming into tonight, of course. Alfa Romeo, of course, leading the championship as well, and the Constructors on 189 points. Williams second on 145 points, with McLaren third on 139, and Haas in fourth on 126. By my calculations, Williams to Haas is calculated by 19 points, separating 3 constructors there. AlphaTauri in fifth on 92, Racing Point 6th on 72, Red Bull 7th on 57, Mercedes 8th on 44, Ferrari 9th on 38, and Renault in 10th on 35 points. And Alfa Romeo again, Luke, very commanding in terms of the constructors, and that's because of one man and one man only.
Yeah, it is. Zhao Zhao, obviously, with that massive league. If he was his own team, he'd be 4th in the constructors at the moment. He'd only be a couple of points behind McLaren. That is how good of a job he has done. But I believe he is on his own now all of a sudden. Williams have got Dobby and Perpetuum, who, to be fair, the last couple of races, Dobby's been top 5 in both of them, beating his teammate Perpetuum in both of them. And I think even he'd admit that Perpetuum is the faster outright driver out of the 2 of them. So there's still a chance. You never know. Maybe the constructors could end up falling in Perpetuum and Dobby's favour. We'll just have to wait and see how the final 4 races obviously go. Russia, Mexico, America, and then Singapore, the finale, in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, unbelievable to think that the season is going to finish in 3 weeks' time, and that'll be us, of course, off for our summer holidays onto F1 2021 when the time comes around. And yeah, you mentioned 3 vacant seats currently in Division 1, one in Mercedes, one in Alfa Romeo, and one in Renault. And with Williams, Perpetuum, and Dobby both here tonight, and both of them having a good chance to try and gain some extra points over Zhao Zhao. Williams might start catching Alfa Romeo towards the end of the season in the Constructors. If Zhao Zhao doesn't perform tonight, then Perpetuum and Dobby all rest on them to try and gain in terms of the Constructor standings coming into tonight as well. Looking, of course, at this track map in question, 5.8 kilometres taken around the circuit at the Sochi Autodrome, around the 2014 Winter Olympic Park, of course. 5.8 kilometres and then 27 laps awaiting these guys out on track. Dynamic weather, but that doesn't rule out the risk of rain whatsoever.
No, I have seen quite a few wet races around this circuit. It can be quite tricky, especially towards the end of the lap. Massive traction needed in that final sector. Very twisty indeed after the second DRS zone, so that can catch a lot of the drivers out. There's an interesting quirk on this track that it is actually it's one of the shortest runs towards turn 1 on the calendar. But because turn 1 is just a flat-out kink, it is one of the longest runs towards the first braking zone on the calendar at turn 2. So this qualifying session that will come in soon, yes, you do get 2 points, obviously, for qualifying on pole, but maybe starting in first isn't going to be the most ideal thing.
Might not be, because you're going to be on the marbles as well on the run-up in towards turn 1, but it is going to be fascinating to see how everything is going to unfold out on track. Looks like we're going with 15 drivers, which is a bit disappointing for Division 1 standards. Yeah, we know it's coming to the end of the game cycle, but hopefully quality is better than quantity out on track. But let us get going then. Let's get straight into qualifying. Welcome along everyone to TTML Division 1. We are here for Season 4, Round 7 of the Championship as we take in the Russian Grand Prix from the Sochi Autodrome. Of course, my name is James Head-Luke Etheridge. Join me alongside on the commentary box. C4, C3 and C2 compound tyres awaiting the guys out on track. Softs, mediums and the hards are the compounded tyres, and quite a low degradation track in terms of the tyres around here as well. And it's going to be quite fascinating to see how this is all going to unfold around the hairpins, the twists and the loops of the Sochi Autodrome. 5.8 kilometres in length, taking us around 18 turns with 2 DRS zones. One down the start finish straight down in towards turn 2, and one down the DRS straight in towards turn 13, the heavy braking zone into 13. Quite a lot of elevation change in the final sector, going uphill on the run up towards turn 15. Could be quite potent for these guys, but we'll remain to see how everything is going to unfold. And as we get out on track, beautiful blue skies and sunshine, exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, that will be a relief for a lot of the drivers. As you mentioned, it is quite a low degradation track, so soft medium or medium soft, depending on which way you want to go for if you're outside of the top 10, is definitely going to be the order of the day. And maybe with 15 drivers, we might see a few drivers try to set their first runs on the medium just to try and work out whether that is going to be a viable strategy. It's going to be important. Track limits, I've already mentioned, are going to be tough around here, but that final corner in qualifying, it's very easy to run wide there. If you do that, you don't only ruin your current lap, but your next one as well. So that could really put some of these drivers under pressure if they're having to leave it late to set a valid lap time.
Yep, Jaja, the first man to exit onto track then, coming through turn 2, of course, where some Formula 2 incidents happened. Matches who of course was in the wall with Jack Aiken, I remember, in that crash in 2019. Jaja now coming through in towards turn number 4. Fish Stadium just off to the left-hand side there as he comes now through past the ice hockey arena to the left-hand side. The Red Sea dead in front, about 500 metres that way, on the run down in towards turn 6, and now through 7 and then through 8, and Jaja just preparing up for a lap at this stage, but he's the first man out on track, which comes to show he's not going to hang about because he's on a set of softs as well.
Yeah, he is on a set of soft tyres. He's only, amazingly, considering his pace, he's only actually had one pole position so far this season, and that was that round number 1, but again, no one's really had the consistency to be able to challenge him regularly in qualifying. He always seems to be near the front, and he always seems to get a lightning start. And if he gets the kind of starts that he usually does, it wouldn't surprise me even if he qualified 4th or 5th if he's leading heading into that first braking zone of turn 2.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. 2 debutants as well in the field tonight. Nitro Racing and BNLRE_Den Dave. Bit of a mouthful to say. We'll call him Dave. Good old Dave in the commentary box here as we come now through the final couple of corners with Jajo, and we're now going to go on board with a lap as he comes through the final corner. 5.8 kilometres in length, of course. There's the roller coaster just in front of the driver as he now makes his way on the run down towards turn 1, opens up the DRS, running now through the DRS zone and now runs down towards turn 1, already reaching 200 mile an hour in excess. He runs down in towards the braking zone of turn 2. Lovely job through turn 2. Now through turn 3 and then through the hairpin of turn 4. Takes the thinner line as much as possible. Tries to take the thin line to try and gain the ground. Coming through turn 4. There's the Fish Stadium to the left-hand side, and now coming through turn 5. Ice hockey arena to the left-hand side once again. And through the end of the first sector. It's not looking too bad at all. 32.6 through the first sector. But Jajo's actually replicated that with a 32.5 on the task system as now come through. In toward the end of the, towards the end of the middle sector we come. But we come now through turns 9 and 10. This double left-hander out on track really can catch a few guys out. You can pick up a lot of invalidations there. The Olympic Village straight in front of the driver. So now comes through turn 11, through the kink at 12, opens up the second DRS zone and now on the run down in towards turn number 13. And this is going to be potent to see where he is going to be in this middle sector to 103.4 to 30.7 on the task system through the middle sector for Zhao Zhao. Absolutely flies through 14, and now on the hill, up the hill, in towards 15 and 16. Elevation changes like not actually committed that much on the game compared to it in real life. Through 16, and now on the run up towards turns 17 and 18. Very nice lap here from Zhao Zhao, really committed on the power. He now comes around the final couple of corners. We should see a 128 or 129 to begin off with, and Zhao Zhao comes across the line, and it's a 129.3 to start off the night.
Yeah, our TAS system is just a sea of yellow at the moment, which shows how many drivers are invalidated. It does come up with a yellow sign in our system if they have invalidated. Perpetuum, others as well. I think Nicholas was one to invalidate on his first one. Carlsbury heading towards the finish line now. Not a bad first sector, but a long way off, and he's just got it wrong. Coming out of the penultimate corner, only would have been good enough for a 130.1 in the end, but he might have to go again. Dobby goes into third place, so Zhao Zhao, Rick Dobby, the only drivers to have kept it clean. Carlsbury, Perpetuum, and a few others already invalidated, and it is quite a long circuit here, but Russia just short of 90 seconds, as you can see, for a qualifying lap, so you won't want to be going too often, and you're not going to get too many chances to get a clean run in.
Schiaparelli runs across the line, 29.7. Good lap from him. The German goes third behind the Belgian of Rick. It's Zhao Zhao currently out on top. Rick second, Schiaparelli in third. But yeah, all of the invalidations being picked up out on track. Quite something, and it's not really surprising to see, actually. One of the AlphaTauris are coming through the final couple of corners. Nitro Racing on a lap. Actually, Purple in the middle sector, 30.7 through the middle sector. He's barely quicker than Zhao Zhao. And Nitro Racing coming out the final corner. And he goes second on his debut, about a tenth and a half off Zhao Zhao, but he's right up there with the pace.
I mean, we have seen a few drivers go quick on their debuts. I think Venom, he set a pole position on his first race this season. Schiaparelli, even though he has raced in TTML before, he got pole position last time out. He got the setup completely wrong. He admitted that, and that's what caused him to have a crash. So there is history of debutants doing fairly well. Lemon was going for a lap on the mediums. He's invalidated, as has IMD, so I doubt we're really going to get a good sign of what these medium tyres can do. Although if we look at Lemon's first sector, it was a 33.0. Compare that to a 32.5 from Zhao Zhao. I think you're going to struggle to get into the top 10 on that set of medium tyres. Don't be surprised if that group of three from 11th to 13th decide to come in and put the softs on.
Yeah, let's see what Dave does. Dave's coming around the final couple of corners out on track. I feel like I'm commentating on one of my, on a person that I know, which is quite strange. Dave, of course, the line goes 8th. I'm a D. I'm not sure if he's on the lap. I think he's coming into the pit lane. Lemon is also on a lap, and I think actually he's got damage, if I'm not mistaken, as Lemon on the right side end plate. It looks like he's actually going to go for another lap, but right side end plate knocks off the bollard and nearly runs into the back of a Mercedes in the process, that being Schiaparelli, of course. Not really sure what Lemon was trying to do there.
Yeah, not the most conventional pit entry, and I think if he does that in the race, you probably actually get yourself a penalty off the game for corner cutting, so that's not something he'll be wanting to do. First runs for, I think most of the drivers have tried to get out on circuit, and it says a lot that only 8 out of 15 have set a lap time at the moment. Den Dave, 1.7 seconds off the closest car. I'm not sure he was pushing flat out, so I don't think the tyre differential is quite that much, but you're going to struggle to get into the top 10 on those times. And Zhao Zhao fastest, again, looking to get that second pole position of the season. If he does get that pole, all of a sudden that gap is 46 points with 4 races remaining. He can afford to really just finish on the podium for the rest of the season, so don't be surprised if a few more of these drivers that invalidated their first run take it a bit easier on their second. You've got Mikras now. He's currently on a hot lap, just coming up towards the first sector point. 32.566. Very respectable. Only 9 thousandths slower than our pole man.
Yeah, he's right on the pace as Miklas now coming through the right-hander of turn 8 into the double left of turns 9 and 10. And now Miklas coming through the end of the middle sector toward the Olympic Village once again, just straight in front of the driver as he comes down through turn 11 and now runs through the kink at 12. And now opens up that second DRS zone, of course. He's got plenty of VRS to use up as well. And he'll be saving that up, of course, as he comes into the final sector. Miklas through the end of the middle sector. He's there or thereabouts again. 30.8, about a tenth of a second off the fastest middle sector, which was Nitro Racing. And Nitro Racing, in fact, was only 1800ths ahead of Zhao Zhao's fastest middle sector as well. So Miklas on a good lap here. Looks like he'll go third maybe with this lap coming out of 16. On the run up towards turn 17 and 18, the final 2 corners now waiting the Haas man out on track, and the Dane comes through the final corner with 10 minutes to go in the session. Miklas across the line, actually goes second. That didn't look like a second middle sector from me. But Jojo on top, Miklas second, IFR 1-2, Nitro Racing in third. And of course, IFR, I don't think are competing in the EML Premier, but one eye maybe to them next season. Perpetuum has just started up the lap as well.
Yeah, fantastic middle sector actually by Miklas, fastest of anyone in there, only about 400ths of a second faster than Zhao Zhao, but shows that he's got the car working, Zhao Zhao as well. They've got it working, they've got it rotating just how they want it through some of those slower speed corners. Now this is a bit of a pressure run from our reigning champion Perpetuum, winner in Season 2, winner in Season 3. He's going to have to go some to make it 3 in a row here at TTML at the moment. We'll see what his first sector time is like. 32.478. He was fastest in Sector 1 last time, and it all went wrong in the middle part of the lap. So we'll see if he can keep it a bit cleaner. Very awkward part of the track this, I find. Turn 7, and then 8 and 9. That is sausage curb on the left-hand side of Turn 8. You hit that too hard, you will spring in the air and be going a long, long way off track. He looks to have kept it clean for now. Surprised we haven't seen any teammates possibly working together to try and get a slipstream. 2 very long straights around here, so that might definitely be something that you take advantage of if you were communicating.
Perpetuum through the middle sector, 30.8 through the middle sector. This is a really good lap. This is shaping up maybe to be quicker than Zhao Zhao, but now comes in towards 15, 16, and this is where you can really gain the time. Up this hill section, through 15, 16, and then on the exit towards 17, 18. A little bit shaky coming out of 16, but now comes through turn 17, and then through turn 18. Really on the limit, really on the power. Perpetuum out the final corner, comes across the line and goes quickest at 129.259, 500ths of a second ahead of Zhao Zhao. Zhao Zhao's to the end of the middle sector, and he's even quicker. He's nearly a 10th and a half up alone through the middle sector, and Zhao Zhao is a man on absolute fire on this lap. Coming now through turn 15, through 16 once again. Perpetuum still out on top, but for how long? I don't think he's even going to hold on to this lead for a minute as Zhao Zhao comes out through the final corner, through 17, through 18. This might be the pole lap to beat. Comes across the line, and it is, and it's a 129 flat, and he's 2 tenths ahead of Perpetuum. And catch me if you can, he cries.
Yeah, he was just comparing the laps coming through turn 15 and turn 16, that very, almost like a chicane where there is a tiny bit of a straight between them, 15 and 16. Zhao Zhao definitely was tighter through 15 to give him that better line through turn 16, so he'd be able to get on the throttle earlier and have a better run towards the final 2 corners, and that might be in that final sector where we just found that extra 1.5 seconds. Perpetuum perhaps a little bit deep, maybe half a tenth to find. I think he's going to have to pray for a bit of a miracle, though, if he wants to find 2 tenths in that final sector alone. Back to the drawing board for Perpetuum. But second place, we've already said, not a bad place to be with that slipstream on the first lap.
Yeah, Lemon's coming out through the final corner as well, comes across the line, goes 7th. One of the McLarens, I think, invalidated on their lap as well. But Lemon comes across the line as well. That looked like a McLaren to me. It's a Ferrari all of a sudden. It's Tim, I think, on a lap. I need my eyes testing clearly, as Tim is was on a full lap, and I think at 29.9 currently is his time, 10th place for him. But Jojo out on top, Perpetuum in second, Miklas in third. Miklas might be the one to watch. Actually, Kumbly improved quite a lot, up to 4th, 29.4. He was on a 29.9, so improved quite considerably. But Miklas, that man there, he's on that lap at the minute. What does he have to do to try and be quicker than Jojo, as Carl Spree goes 4th?
I think when you look at it, his times at the moment, it's really it's middle sector and final sector. He's 2 tenths down in the middle sector with that, which has got a fairly long straight in it. So whether you can't really say it's a lack of straight line speed, because then you'd see the effect in sector 1 as well. So whether he's just made a slight mistake coming through 6, 7, 8 and 9, we said they're corners that can be slightly awkward for the drivers. He's just gonna have to try something. Carsby's got up into 4th, on his second run on these soft tyres. We said they don't wear a lot, so unlike a lot of circuits where you don't really want to be in the top 10 on tyres that have done 2 hot laps, you can sort of get away with it around this circuit. So he's not doing so bad whatsoever as Nitro. He goes back up into second place, 129.207 from the Alpha Tauri driver. Interestingly, not purple in any of the sectors.
Yeah, and he goes second, and he's only a 10th and a half off Jojo, which is not a bad lap there at all from the debutant. It's Jojo out on top, Nipro in second, and Perpetuum in third. Miklas has just started up lap. I'm on board with Den Dave. He's quite a way off through the first sector. He's about 5 tenths off compared to Jojo's first sector at least. And Den Dave now coming through in towards the final couple of corners at the end of this middle sector. And we'll see what his middle sector is actually like. It's 31.2 through the middle sector. So again, about 4 tenths off compared to the standard of times that we've been seeing so far. Then they've now coming through in towards the final couple of corners. I would think this will be about a 131.2, maybe a little bit shaky coming out of 15. Now through 16, as he is on the lap on the run up towards turn 17 and 18. Jaja, Nipro and Perpetuum still your top three. Mikras is on the lap as well. Then Dave Knight comes out through the final corner, comes across the line. It's a 130.6, improved quite a lot there in the end. Mikras is coming through towards the end of the middle sector, and I'm not sure actually if he's backed off, as he hasn't. It's a 30.8 through the middle sector, and he is green through the middle sector, but he's barely improving.
Yeah, it was 200 down on his personal best through Sector 1. Doesn't need to find too much in this final sector, and again, a bit like Perpetuum, maybe just a tad deep into that turn number 15, onto the curb at turn 16, and I think that's decided for him that that lap was not worth completing. Get into the pits, get a fresh set of tyres on, and get ready for your final run in this session. There's only one driver that has yet to set the time, and it is TTG Nicholas, and he's had a massive slide there. Coming through turn number 4, all crossed up, 32.9 in the first sector of the lap. Wouldn't surprise me if he backs off this one and gives it another go later.
Then Dave, by the way, 32.8 through the first sector. He's invalidated as well. Nicholas is the only man that's actually on a lap, but we've got a lot of drivers in the pit lane at the minute. It's only then Dave and Nicholas out there, both on laps at the minute. There's a racing point, I think, of Lemon, who just came into the pit lane there as well. But Jajo out on top, Nipro second, Perpetuum in third with 3.5 minutes to go. Nicholas coming through the end of the middle sector. We're on board with this lap. So 30.8 through the middle sector, so it's actually going quite quick on this into the final sector as he comes. Now through turn 14, on the run up towards 15 and then 16. It's Jaja, Nipro and Perpetuum currently your top three, as I say. Lemon is the one coming out from that lap first, then Kumblai coming out from that lap as well. And Nicholas typically comes into the pit lane. So we'll go back on board with Lemon, I think, as Nicholas runs wide, nearly hitting the pit wall.
Yeah, that would have been a less than ideal. It is quite a long pit loss time around here as Tim has left a session. Hopefully he is able to get back in. The Ferrari down in 12th place at the moment. It is a long pit lane. We said you can easily do one stop, and that's all you want to be doing around here. If you have to do a second stop because of damage or whatever, it is going to cost you absolute chunks of time. You're going to be a long way down the field, and the DRS is quite powerful around here. So the first few laps, losing that DRS train could easily cost you 2-3 tenths of a second per lap, and then you're just going to find it harder, obviously, to catch up to the back of the pack. And a few drivers going a bit earlier. Lemon, both of the Red Bulls, and Imady just try to get out on track a bit earlier than some of the others. I think there'll be a rush at the end of the pit lane very shortly, though, into the final 2 minutes 15 of qualifying.
Well, Lemon will be hoping to squeeze more performance out of this car. It's terrible. 129.6 is current lap. Obviously, that comes through the final corner. I'm now getting shaking heads from our graphics man and from my co-commentator, I'm sure. Lemon now coming through turn number 1. On the run up towards turn number 2, and it's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to unfold out on track with barely 2 minutes to go in the session. Lemon now coming through turn 2, through turn 3, just get caught, clipped on the curb on the inside, I should say. If I get my words out, that'd be brilliant. Tim has also joined the session, so he's back in. Might not take control for his final lap though, but Lemon now coming through in towards turn 5, and then in towards turn number 6. And the first sector is not too bad. It's 32.6 through the first sector, not matching, of course, Colby's first sector with a 32.465. That's the quickest out of everyone through the first sector, as Lemon just nearly runs out wide coming through turn 8. Now through turn 9 and 10, we've also got Kumblai Effect and the likes on a lap as well. Jaja, Nipro and Perpetuum will probably be the top 3 to watch on with, but Lemon on a lap as Tim joins the session. I don't think he'll have time to get out there for a lap. Lemon has got, I think, Dobby possibly ahead of him on a lap. I can see a very faint white thing in the foreground. It's a 30.9 through the middle sector from Lemon. So now comes through 13, now through 14, and then up the hill in towards 15 and 16. And he has got a Haas, in fact, in front of him, which I think is Mikras on a outlap. Then comes through 16. Ooh, gets caught on the curb a little bit on the exit, but now coming through 17 and the new 18. He might get the faintest amount of slipstream from Mikras as he goes onto his lap. Lemon comes across the line, and he barely improved, but he does improve into 7th.
Yeah, didn't actually improve. I think he was identical pretty much in the final sector. Imady is improving in the McLaren, 2 tenths up on his personal best at the moment. That would be good enough to put him round about where Rick is at the moment, if he can find a bit more of an improvement. Rick just starting his lap, all sorts of yellow flags. That's just cars trying to get out of the way. A slight correction there from Imady, so we'll see if he can. That will cost him. Shapalele trying to get out of the way. Shapalele might not get to set a lap time here. He's just about going to make it. I'm not sure if he got in the way of Kuhn Bly there. I think Kuhn was on I think Kuhn was actually on an outlap himself, so those two starting to trip over each other. Wouldn't surprise me if that one ends up going to the stewards. Checkered flag is out, effect into the pit, so he's not going to be able to improve. Nipro is improving in sector 1, but only by 4 thousandths of a second. And Zhao Zhao, he's nearly a tenth up in the first sector.
He is 32.4, not the quickest though. Carlsbury's invalidated. Perpetuum though responds, middle sector 30.6, and Perpetuum on a flying lap here, and the German there corrects himself out through 14. On the run up towards 15 and 16. He's got to put this now all on the line with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go with the time remaining. Jaja, Nipro and Perpetuum currently your top 3. How's it all going to end though? Towards the end of the session as Perpetuum out of 17. Beautiful through 17 through 18. Runs wide and goes second. And if that was quickest, I think that would have gone to the stewards. As Jaja is through the middle sector as well. He's 30.7 through the middle sector. Nipro as well, 30.7. He's ahead of him out on track. So Nipro is going to be the next to come across the line. Don't think Miklas improved. Carlsbury is not improving either. Kuhn Bly not improving, I don't think, either as well. Nipro across the line didn't improve on his lap time. Carlsbury is coming through the final couple of corners, but he is not improving. Chapelali might be the one to improve from further down the field, at 29.7, as I think Nicholas went into 6th there. Good lap there by the Racing Point. Chapelali now through the final 2 corners. Let's see what the German can do. Comes out through the final corner, absolutely flies it through the final corner. As soon as I said that, he absolutely, well, slowed it down. And that's pretty much, I think, the end of qualifying, as Ahmadi is the only one to come into the pit lane. That is the end of qualifying. Zhao Zhao takes his second pole position of the season by 800ths of a second over Perpetuum.
And worryingly, he did 2 laps faster than everyone else. He did improve slightly on that final lap to a 129.008. So it just proves he's got the consistency. He's got everything working together at this race. And Perpetuum, the man second in the championship, second on the grid, he might have to go some to stop him. Great debut from Nipro as well, rounding out the top 3 in qualifying.
Yeah, Jaja, Perpetuum and Nipro, your top 3. Miklas, Carlsbury and Nicholas 4th, 5th and 6th, with Kuhn Bly, Lemon, Effect and Rick rounding off the top 10. Imodine 11th, Chapelelli in 12th, Tim in 13th, Dubby in 14th and Den Dave in 15th. A little bit off the pace, but the whole field, the top 13 certainly separated by 9/10 of a second. Dobby and Den Dave just slightly off the pace. Jojo, by the way, on his lap, he did not set a purple sector throughout his lap, and he still went quickest. Purple first sector was Carlsbury, purple middle sector was Perpetuum, and purple final sector was Nicholas. So Jojo, not even setting a real quick lap time, to be honest, he gets pole without setting a purple middle sector.
Well, this is a track. This is a track where you've got like so many different types of corners. Turn number 3, perhaps turn 7, 8 and 9, you need some pretty good downforce. You've got the final sectors, all about the slow speed, the mechanical grip of the car. And then from the final corner to turn 2, and from turn 10 to turn 13, it's just all about power, all about straight line speed. So you want as skinnier wings as possible. I'd say around here, if you're fastest in any one sector, that means you've compromised the car at some other part of the circuit, perhaps.
Yeah, possibly so. TRT Vessel, by the way, in the comment section saying only 15 people. Yeah, it is a bit disappointing, but as I said at the start of the stream, quality is better than quantity, and that's what we hope to provide you tonight. In Division 1, the driving standards, of course, of last week will be long gone, I am sure, as now we're about to get going for the formation lap out on track. 27 laps awaiting the guys. A predicted pit stop strategy already comes up on my screen. Lap 10 to 14 on both a set of softs to a mediums and a set of softs to a set of hards. Very low tyre wear around this track, and an easy one-stop is probably the name of the day.
Yeah, I think the only way we're seeing a hard tyre is early damage for a car that's starting on a set of softs, so they'll go for that hard tyres. Tyres that the drivers have gone for, everyone outside the top 10, apart from Den Dave, who's starting in 15th for last place, has gone for the medium tyre. He's gone for the softs, and obviously those inside the top 10 are on a set of the soft tyres as well. Zhao Zhao's got that lead. We know he's a good starter. We know, we've said it so many times, he's got a fantastic getaway. Perpetuum, he's just got to try and hang with him and see if he can maybe throw a move into turn 2 from that dirty side of the grid.
Yeah, possibly. I think Perpetuum, if he gets a better second phase of his start, he's going to be side by side with Jojo, and then you're going to be on the outside line. It's very difficult to try and overtake around the outside line, though, coming through turn number 2, and that is going to be the difficulty of trying to get past. We've got the top 10, of course, on the set of soft compound side, then Dave, as you mentioned, on the set of softs down in 15. Everyone else on the set of softs, I'm a D, Chapelelli, Tim and Dobby, all on a set of medium compounded tyres. But Jaja, Perpetuum and Nipro are your top 3. Are they going to be your top 3 towards the end of the race? We'll have to find out. The trials, the tribulations, the roller coaster in the background, really trying to tribulate what sort of race this might be. Jaja and Perpetuum are going to go maybe to war out on track, and it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out on top.
It is indeed. I think Jiao Jiao could have a very good chance of out here. The only thing I worry for Perpetuum is he does pick up that odd track limit penalty. He invalidated his first run in qualifying. If he picks up quite a few around here, which is very easily done, I know sometimes when I use regular corner cutting on this circuit, I end up basically making my own track up and you an improved Sochi 2.0. Almost. You get a lot of penalties around here, especially if there's a late safety car, you are going to be in a heap of trouble. So Perpetuum needs to be quick. He needs to keep it clean, and sometimes those two don't always go hand in hand, but he's got to try something. He can't afford to be beaten by Jiao Jiao tonight.
He can't, and he's going to lose out if he does. And Jaja and Perpetuum on the front row of the grid. There's the run from Jaja. There's the run from Perpetuum. Perpetuum, of course, on the inside line. But we are about to get going. The 5 red lights are about to go out here for Season 4. Round 7 of the Championship here in TTML Division 1. Very long haul, but it's lights out and away we go, and Jaja gets a lot better start than Perpetuum, and Perpetuum's already in this dust as Mikvas will look to the inside line, and Nipro's had an absolute shocker off the start. He's down to 5th already. Mikvas is running side by side with him, and Perpetuum running down in towards turn 2, but it's the top 3 pretty much remain as they are. Nicholas is trying to dive for him down the inside line. How's he got that car stopped? I do not know, and how's there no contact there? I do not know either. Jaja leads the way then through the hairpin for the first time through turn 4, now through towards turn 5. It's Jaja out on top, Perpetuum second, Mikvas and third. A very good stop by everyone. Effect goes down the inside line with Nipro on the outside line as well. Now they run as opposite sides on the run down until the end of the first sector, and Nipro was just barely ahead. Nipro's the one that's had an absolute shocker of a start. Chapelelli is found coming through turn 6, and I think he's got damage right to end play.
Yeah, front wing damage, that is absolutely cut in for Chapelelli, so he's not going to be... He's going to struggle to finish in the top 10 in this race. Surely he's going to have to come into the pits, otherwise the final sector is going to be an absolute nightmare if he tries to carry on with that front wing damage. But yeah, Nipro with a absolutely shocker of a start. Perpetuum's wasn't fantastic, which you could tell by the fact that Mikras was putting him under all sorts of trouble, but in the end he was able to hang on to that car. Jiao Jiao, we're used to it by now. Got an absolutely brilliant start, was never really under threat as, Rick, I'm a D, and I think Kuhn Bly just in the background there, and Dave, the massive winner from all that. They're too busy fighting over and falling over places. There's all sorts of mess going on in the background. Dave's not caring. On those soft tyres, well, those around him on the mediums, he's been able to gain 5 places on lap 1.
Yeah, Dave doing a typical Dave move on the end of lap 1. He's into 10th position. Good stuff from him. Kumbly and Rick. Rick, by the way, nearly lost it coming out through turn 13. And he dived it down the inside, I believe, of Kumbly. And it just put Kumbly under a bit of pressure. And Kumbly is going to try and close in. In the meantime, though, that's Effect trying to go down the inside of Nipro, down in towards turn 2. Gets the move done. That was taken off track, though. And Effect is actually going to be under pressure from Nipro. Nipro's going to clean sail him all the way around the outside. Chapelelli is retired from the session, out of the race into the pit lane, I believe, as now Effect is through on Armour D, and he's into P9 out on track. We see the graphics to the left hand side. That does fix itself though, certainly on my end, but Effect is now behind Nipro, and that is for 7th in the end. Again,
he's just starting to drop back. There's quite a few gaps starting to form in the field, and we said you'd see penalties early on. Effect, Armour D, both with 3-second penalties. We're only on lap 2. If they keep up at that rate, they are not finishing the race. Same with Den Dave. They'll all get disqualified if they just keep picking up more than one warning a lap, because it'll be more than 27 seconds. The front 2 look like they're just checking out slightly from Mikras. I know there is definitely a bit of a timing glitch on my end at the moment, but it doesn't look like it's too far off Mikras being more than a second behind, and that might give Carsby a chance, but the gap's looking fairly sizable at the moment from quite a bit of the field. Just see how it all works out. We'll just see if the undercut becomes important at any point in this race, but probably not until, at the earliest, lap 9 or 10.
I tell you something, that gap is not 7/10 of a second for the lead of the race. Jaja leads the way. It is 7/10 of a second coming across the line, but Perpetuum is right up the rear end of Jaja, and in fact he's going to use a bit of DRS. He's actually going to use a little bit of overtake mode, in fact, to try and get the move done, and he switches to the inside line. Perpetuum's putting Jaja under pressure, sails it down the inside and towards turn 2. Lovely stuff by the German. Jaja switches back, and this is the battle we all wanted to see. Jaja now on the inside line through 4, Perpetuum on the outside line. They nearly lean on each other, nearly nearly crash into each other, but Perpetuum barely scrapes ahead of Jojo. Lovely action between them both. Perpetuum is through and he's into the lead of the race, and that's what he needed to do to put Jojo under pressure. And this is a situation now that Jojo has not found himself in all season. He normally dominates from these situations, but Perpetuum has took the fight to him, and now Perpetuum's in the lead of the race, but Jojo will have the DRS running down into 13.
Yeah, he will have the DRS. He had a bit of a slide there coming through. I think it was turn 7, and Perpetuum, a couple of corners before, also having a slide. DRS will be opening then for Jojo. He's not using any overtakes, so not looking like he's interested at this point. Maybe just thinking about sticking it into turn 2. Mikras did stay close enough to stay within DRS range, and that means Carlsbury, Nicholas, Lemon, and the like can't really get close enough on this occasion. But Perpetuum, he's shown his hand going for that move down towards turn number 2. Will Jojo go for it this time around? And these two, if they start battling hard, that might just help Mikras, Carlsbury, and all the further train behind them getting range. Maybe make this a bit more than just a two-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, well, Miklas hasn't got as much dirty air in front of him than Jojo has compared to Perpetuum. Miklas is playing with about 2/10 more of less dirty air compared to Jojo in front of him. Jojo's not going to get the run on Perpetuum. Perpetuum pulls away on the run down in towards turn number 2 once again, and we are on lap 4 out of 27. Perpetuum leads the way, Jojo in second, and Miklas in third. Looking further down the field, though, I saw Rick trying to get the move done on Kumbly, running down in towards turn 1, or turn 2, I should say. Doesn't get the move done, but he does have the better run out compared to Kumbly, and Kuhn's going to be under pressure here from Rick. Rick, of course, making his debut last time out in Belgium. He now comes right on the back of Kumbly. Bit of a shocking camera angle there, to be honest. Now comes through turn number 5 once again. Perpetuum out on top, Jojo in second. But it just seems to me, Jojo has obviously been overtaken for the lead of the race. As Dave is right on the back of Imadi as well. Imadi in 9th position on a set of mediums. Jojo just looks like he's hanging back slightly. And that might be to give Perpetuum a little bit of leeway with Jojo possibly try to take it a little bit easy. And he knows Perpetuum has already made one mistake this race. He doesn't want to make another. But now Jojo is going to try and apply a little bit of pressure down in towards 13 once again. He's not going to get the move done as Imadi, I think, has had a shocker of a mistake coming out through turn 11. Got caught in the curb, but he's now all the way down the back into P12. He goes, then Dave Kumbly and Rick all the way through the positions as Jojo's right on the back of Perpetuum up the hill and towards 16.
Yeah, is he going to be close enough this time to go for a move? Does he even want to go for the move in these early stages? I don't think he's too bothered about not leading this race at this moment in time. So here they are coming onto lap 5 of the race. They have now managed to escape by more than a second from Mikras, and here we go, Jojo. He's got the overtake on just for a split second there. Perpetuum put it on as well as Imadi retires in the pits, and Jojo deciding in the end, I'm happy at the moment. I'm happy just to stay in this second position, let you lead the race, Perpetuum. I'll just stay a bit further back, try and save from my tyres, and maybe when it comes to the pit stop period, do the opposite. I can react to whatever you do and just try something different on the strategy. Now that Mikras has dropped more than a second behind, though, it's allowing Carlsbury to get the closest he's been in the race. He's about 3/10 off of the podium position at the moment, and Nicholas running in behind has 6% damage on his left end plate on his front wing. Can't imagine that's going to be enough to force him to change it, and that could be crucial. Perpetuum picks up a penalty.
He does indeed on the exit through turn number 8. Turn number 8, of course, is a penalty haven around here, and Perpetuum now is going to be under pressure. Jojo will see that, and I think Jojo will act accordingly to try and get the move done now. He's going to be close enough down in towards 13, even without overtake mode, to try and get the move done. But I think he's just going to hang back possibly, switches the inside line, but it just warns him he's there. There's the warning shot from Jojo as Kumbly and Den Dave are fighting side by side, the two Dutchmen. Kumbly is now through on Den Dave, and Dave is now down into P10, Kumbly up into P9. The sister cars overtaking each other, and they're in a sister car sandwich with Nipro, Effect, Kumbly and Den Dave all in a bit of a sandwich. Yellow flag in sector 3, I think, is Dobby, who has made a mistake.
I think it's Tim, actually, the Ferrari facing the wrong way. He's managed to get it back, though, without suffering any damage to his car again. Jojo not using a bit of ERS at the early part of the straight. That's where it's most effective, that extra energy before the drag starting to come in. But in the end, not using a lot. He's quite happy where he is. Carlsbury straight down the inside of Mikras for that third place. Now, will he be able to close up to the cars ahead of him, or is he just going to stay in that third place and maybe be under pressure from Mikras and a few of those others as well? And all this battling will just slow them up, start cooking the tyres as well. Rick, right on the back of Den Dave.
Carlsbury had a major mistake coming out through turn 4. Just lagged a little bit with the pixels, but Carlsbury through into P3, but he had a massive moment coming out through turn 5 there, and he was very lucky not to put that car on the wall. Petcham has picked up another 3-second penalty. Jaja's just sitting back and lapping all this up, I think, at this stage.
Yeah, I think, not yet, maybe lap 9, lap 10, we're going to see Zhao Zhao try and pull off that undercut, or he might just prove to be completely wrong and go for a move down the inside into turn number 13, not quite close enough on this occasion. But yeah, Carlsbury having a bit of a moment. Despite that mistake, Mikras was nowhere near close enough to try and go for a move that time around. You've got sort of groups appearing. First and second are sort of checking out at the moment. Then third to seventh. Effects trying to get involved with this as well. Rick gets himself down into turn 15 and 16 ahead of Den Dave. So Rick up into 10th place. It almost looked as though Dave was struggling on his tyres, which he shouldn't be, as they are fresher than those on the Ferrari ahead of him. Did start outside the top 10, so got that free choice of tyres. And gets himself another penalty. So he's just struggling a bit on his debut. But here comes Zhao Zhao. He's going to go for a move down the inside into turn number 2. Gets the position. Is Perpetuum able to fight back on the exit like Zhao Zhao was earlier? Ooh. No, he's not. And Rick is out of the race. That is on the pit straight. And that is a virtual safety car.
I think him and Den Dave were having a battle. And he's out coming through turn 1. I think Den Dave might have tried to go around the outside line here. And Tim's been on the inside. They've locked wheels. And he's gone to sent flying into the wall. Dende was getting the move done in that process, so that is why I think both of them might have made a bit of contact out on track. I didn't see it though, the stewards of course will have to investigate that one, but Jaja leads the way, VSC deployed, VSC ended now as Jaja leads the way, Perpetuum in second, and Jaja got that move done, and that is going to be crucial for him. He's now going to show the pace to try and pull away, and I wonder, with this pace advantage now that Jaja has, I wonder if he's actually going to come in for an early pit stop to go on Trisella Hards.
I doubt it. I really don't think you want to be using the hards around this track unless you absolutely have to. I think now that he sees Perpetuum got the penalty, he's not got to worry too much, even though we said he can't react anymore to what Perpetuum does because Perpetuum could just decide to go for the undercut whenever he wants to. Zhao Zhao can maybe afford to just take it that bit easier, knowing Perpetuum has the penalties. Zhao Zhao knows that he's got that championship lead. He can just almost relax a bit, but he's got a lot more pace on this lap. He's used quite a bit more EOS on this lap than Perpetuum. He's used about 25% more of your lap allowance, as that is Dave who has gone off the circuit. Was very close to the wall coming out of turn number 16. Hasn't got any damage though. He's able to continue in last place as we have got our first driver into the pitch, and it is Kuan Bly.
On to a set of mediums he will go, so Kumbla is in on a set of mediums, and he's going to be coming out behind Den Dave, but he's in clear air, and that could be quite crucial towards the end of the race, and he's going to try and get the undercut on the likes of Effect and the likes of Nipro, who of course has had that disastrous start, and Nipro down in 7th position at this stage, but Jaja leading the way, Perpetuum in 2nd, Cosby in 3rd. Mace, by the way, saying a really good comment, I think, even in the comment section. Why would you retire with at least 5 points available and the safety car being on? The safety car, of course, we've seen a VSC already, we haven't seen a safety car, but with 5 points on the line minimum out on track, surely these guys, you would imagine, would be trying to go for these points rather than just retiring.
No one will ever understand the mindset of the league race, I don't think, so I don't even know why we try at times, if I'm being perfectly honest. Zhao Zhao, it looks like he's finding some more pace all of a sudden, because early on he was under a lot of pressure for Perpetuum, but the gap that these two have pulled out over the cars behind them as well is now about 3.4 seconds as Dave's around again. That is at turn 8. And Perpetuum's out of the race!
Perpetuum's crash coming through turn 14, and a safety car, literally as we were just saying about it, a safety car has now been deployed out on track. David spun, left side end plate damage. Zhao then is into the pit lane from the lead of the race. What does this do, possibly? I think Dave will be fortunate that the safety cars came out when it did. Of course, he'd be gaining an extra 5 seconds in the pit stop, but Zhao is into the pit stop. Carlsbury, Mikras, both racing points are going to double stack. It looks to me as if everyone else is going to be fine. But Jaja could be held up in the pit lane here. No, he's not. And Jaja will remain out in the lead of the race. But Perpetuum out of the race. And that is a big dent in his championship hopes.
Yeah, Zhao can't mathematically win it tonight. But I think with that incident, with the pace him and Perpetuum were showing compared to everyone else, it's pretty much game, set and match. He's going to be 60, 70 points ahead of the nearest driver after this race with 3 rounds to go. I'm just quickly checking what it looks like on the TELS system at the moment. He would be 64 points ahead of Carlsbury in the championship if it finished in this order. Considering there's only 99 available after tonight, that is an absolutely massive lead. Nipro going onto the hard tyres is an interesting choice. Clearly not confident in the medium stretching a lap or two longer than you normally would take them, but there is the safety car. Dobby going for the hards, Tim going for the softs. Wouldn't surprise me if he comes into the pits this time around to put on another set of the mediums, of course, because that pit timing really was awkward for those that had started the race on the medium tyres, as you have to use two different types of dries.
Yeah, well, he is going to be, of course, on that set of soft compounded tyre, and I would imagine he'll have to come in for a set of mediums out on track. But just looking through the field, Jaja leading the way, Mikros in second. I'm really intrigued about Nipro's strategy. On a set of hard compounded tyres, now I'm not sure if there might be any rain later on in the race. That's the only reason I could possibly think he could go on for a set of hard compounded tyres if there's rain due at the end of the race. But you never know in Formula 1, and Nipro is the man on a set of hard compounded tyres, of course, along with Dobby. Tim, though, on a set of softs. I wonder if he selected the wrong tyre here, and I wonder if he's going to come into the pit lane, as you say, onto a set of medium compounded tyres, one would imagine. But he is going to be behind Den Dave, who I think is having to stick to a delta at this stage. He's now obviously catching back as we come through. But Jaja is the leader, 1/3 distance. Jaja, Mikras, Colby, your top three. Looking at the position gains, by the way, as well out on track. 2 positions gained, respectively, for Mikras, Carlsbury and Nicholas. 3 gained for Effect, 5 gained for Dobby, most positions gained for him. Tim has gained 3, then Dave has gained 4, and Kumblai, Lemon and Jajo haven't gained a position because they've stayed as they are. And Nipro is the one that's only lost out on 2 positions, but he had an absolute shocker of a start, and he was down in 7th. So actually he's gained a little bit because of Lemon double stacking with Nicholas.
Yeah, he has. That has definitely helped him out. Tim decided to carry out on those soft tyres. He is going to be lightning fast, but he's going to lose so much time when he comes into the pits, and I can't see you stretching those soft tyres long enough to be able to get them towards the end of the race. Definitely not in any half-usable condition. He's going to struggle with tyre wear towards the end, but he will be lightning fast once the safety car comes into the pit. So making your moves in the first 2 laps before the DRS gets activated might be the wisest thing to do for him. There might be a bit of a split in the field as well once the safety car comes in. Those top 4 drivers might take advantage of the fact that Nipro is on the hard tyres. I still don't quite get it. The mediums, we saw the suggested pit stop was around about lap 10. The safety car's going to come in at the end of lap 10. Yes, they've done a couple of laps already on them, but under the safety car. So it's not like you're really throwing lots of load on. I could be wrong, I could be completely crazy, but I'm not sure that was the wisest strategy from Nipro. He might be under a lot of pressure at the end of this lap.
Yeah, I think Effect, Kuhn, Bly and Lemon are probably going to get past him within 2-3 laps maybe, even before the DRS comes out. Jess, by the way, in the comment section. Good to see Jess, of course, in the comment section supporting TTML tonight and League Racing TV. What a coincidence. You talk about safety cars and now there is one. What? It's literally just us in a shell, in a nutshell, to be honest. We are like Mystic Meg out on track. There we are. Jaja leads the way, Miklas in second, Carlsbury in third. But what happened under the safety car start? Do you expect Jaja to floor it coming out through the final 2 corners? Or do you expect him maybe to just hold back and give Miklas a little bit of time? Because, of course, both of them assigned to the same team, and safety car will be coming in this lap.
It's a bit of a strange one here, because a lot of circuits we've seen, obviously, in real life, like Mugello, you've got that extremely long run down the straight until the checkered flag, until the finish line, so you don't really want to give anyone a long run, whereas here it's pretty short, so I think you can afford to go a bit early. They've all got plenty of ERS, use some of that ERS to try and get away, and maybe even break some of the toe long before we get towards the final couple of corners, but he is taking it fairly steady for now. Hopefully everyone behind him keeps it nice and clean, because any 5-second penalties, yes, they'll be able to get them removed, but it will be a bit annoying for themselves when it comes to this race. Safety car is in, and there we go. Zhao Zhao is going for it on the exit of turn 16, and Dave's lost it in the background under the safety car.
He has. He's lost it coming through. I didn't see that actually in the background. The camera angle was on board with Jaja. Jaja comes across the line to lead the way there. Mikras in second, Colsbury in third. It's a good restart from Jaja. Wasn't initially a great start. His Effect is now right on the back of Nipro, and this is going to be a one-way street with Lemon right on the back of Kuhn Bly as well. Effect going side by side with Nitro on the run down and towards someone, gets the move done. Lemon comes from a mile back on Kuhnblai, tries to launch it down the inside line, doesn't get the move done. I don't think Dave has actually got any damage as a result. I'm just going to check the task system to see if he does have any damage as a result of spinning under the safety car. He doesn't. It's only Nicholas who still has that damage out on track, but he's keeping up with Carlsbury at this stage. Jaja leads the way though, Mikras second, Carlsbury third, but back underway. Tim has not made any progress just yet. He's on the back of Dobby. He's on a sort of soft compound of tyres, but it's one thing to get onto the back of a driver and it's another thing to overtake, and it's especially so around Team at Russia.
Yeah, it is the DRS zone's his best chance. He might be able to go all the way around the outside here, though. Of turn 10, that is just pure tyre grip coming through turn 8 and 9. Dobby on the hards, Tim on the softs. Nothing Dobby could do in the Williams about that. He's just going to watch Tim probably streak up to the back of those cars ahead of him. And you can see Nipro's not done too bad of a job on the hard tyres. He was obviously behind Nicholas at the start, but he's not dropped behind Effect, who got an absolutely lightning getaway and needed to do so. He has got 3 seconds of penalties. Dave has 9. They're the only 2 drivers with penalties still in the race, obviously after Perpetuum retired. Coming to the end of our first lap. After a green flag though, 16 laps to go at the end of this one. Jiao Jiao crosses the line, fastest lap of the race. Mikras about 8 tenths behind. Carlsbury not really coming along with Mikras on this time around, and I think that's actually been a move in the pits that we've missed there. Mikras getting ahead of Carlsbury.
Yeah, I think actually Cosby might have got held up slightly. Here comes Tim diving it down the inside in towards turn 2. Lemon just said, you know what, I'm going to let you through. Tim is through then, and he's into 8th position, but for how long? Because Lemon's still on the back of him coming through the hairpin. Through turn 4, there's 180-degree left-hander, I should say, coming through turn number 4, and then through turn 5 once again. Jaja leading the way, Mikras in second, with Cosby in third. But now Tim has got a little bit of clear air. His next target is now Kuhnblai. He is expecting, I think, to probably come into the pit lane within the next 10 laps or so, possibly under a set of soft compound tyres towards the end of the race. But you can manage the softs enough to try and get to the end of the race around here with very low tyre deg. And I mean, having a look at the tyre deg at this stage, Tim's only on 10%. And Kuhnblai, who's on the same strategy pretty much, is only on 11%. Tim's tyres is nowhere near the rate of where we're expecting it was to go off at this stage.
Yeah, but 12% on his rear left after about, we'll say after 3 laps. We'll add a bit of the time on. 4% a lap. He's going to have to do about 18, 19 laps. Do you want to be taking them towards 76%? Because you're definitely not going to be quick at the end of this race. And it's going to get even tougher now once the DRS becomes active. His best opportunities might be, like he did earlier, coming out of turn 10, coming out of the final corner, just coming onto these main straights and just be able to pure out-drag your car and out-traction the car ahead of you. Jiao Jiao, now that he's seen DRS has been enabled, he's going 1.4 seconds ahead of Mikras, who is not able to go along with him at this moment in time. And Carlsbury, bit like he was in the first part in this race, just staring at the back of that Haas car. Will he be able to make a move, which would now, of course, be for second place as things stand? Carlsbury.
Tim's trying to go around the inside line through 4 in towards turn 5. Doesn't get the move done. You can continue.
Say Carlsbury's second in the championship at the moment and can consolidate that a bit, and this would be, he's currently on for his joint best result of the season, joint with Silverstone, so going up one place will be able to gain that. You can see Tim though has got that grip at the moment. In fact, he was a bit slow coming through turn 8, almost like he got too close to the back of Kuhnblai through 7, and that's going to cost him. He's going to drop back already. He's still got much better tyres, but he's just found himself stuck in this DRS train.
Yeah, and that's one problem. It's one thing to get onto the back of the driver, and it's another thing to try and overtake. I will always say this. Jaja on top, though. Mikras in second, Carlsbury third. Nicholas in fourth. Nicholas looks quicker than Mikras and Carlsbury, I think, at this stage. He's on a set of mediums. Both of them, of course, on a set of mediums ahead. No penalties to play with. This could be quite interesting, because the German is on the back of the Finn. The Finn is then on the back of the Dane. And Carlsbury will be hoping to try and get onto the back. But it just looks to me as if Niklas, once he's in clear out, I think he'll fly away from these guys out on track. But Jaja currently holding the advantage in the topsy-turvy roller coaster just off to the front of the straight. Cloud beginning to build over the circuit, possibly out on track as well as now Kuhnblai has got to sail past Nitro. Carlsbury sails past Miklas, and now Tim has got to sail past Nitro as well. So Nitro, in the space of literally a couple of corners, has gone from running in 6th position, now running down in 8th position, as I believe Niklas picked up a 3-second penalty there, with Nitro still on the back of Tim.
Yeah, Nipro trying to go around the outside. He's just not got the grip on those hard tyres whatsoever. You can also see that by the fact that Dobby's dropped off the back of this pack and is now 2 seconds off of Lemon. Niklas, he's got a lot of pace, but if you look, Carsbury about 50% ERS, Mikras about 50%, Niklas 20% ERS, and that is going to cost him down the straight, and he's the dreaded third man in the DRS train. It's going to be exceedingly difficult for him to make any moves unless the cars ahead make a mistake, I feel. And he's Zhao Zhao's checking out. He's 2 seconds ahead. We've only had 3 green flag laps. Effect is just starting to hang on to the back of these drivers, and it'll be interesting to see if Kumbelai and Tim, now that they're free from Nipro, will they be able to get on the back of Carsbury and make this quite a long train for second position?
Yeah, Effect trying to get the Effect, of course, out on track. That's another terrible pun. Kumbelai and Tim in 6th and 7th, Nipro and Lemon, of course, still on the back of Nipro, but I would imagine this is going to be the move to watch out for. Tim is still on the back of Kumbelai, cannot find a way through just yet, but coming out through the final couple of corners, he might. As Nipro is in 8th position. I don't think Tim's going to be close enough. However, Lemon on the back of Nipro. Nipro's out of DRS range here, and now he's going to be absolutely sailed on by Lemon. Shit, he's not even going to use up any overtake mode here to try and get the move done. Is he actually committed to get the overtake done? Yes, he is. Used a little bit of overtake mode. Nipro's still there on the inside line, and Lemon could have gave him a little bit of room there, to be honest. Lemon is through then. He's into 8th position. W in 9th. Nipro probably should have backed out that as well. But Lemon should have gave a little bit more room. There was 2 and 1. Certainly can go into the corner if you are safe enough. Then Dave Butterway's retired from the race in the pit lane. Jaja leads the way. Gap all of a sudden, 1.4 seconds. I think Carsbury's beginning to put his foot down.
Yeah, he is. Just looking at that move between Nipro and Lemon, I think you could argue Lemon should have given him a bit more room, but Nipro, he had barely had any of his...
Effect ran massively wide. I thought he had damage there. All of a sudden, he's run massively wide, and now Kumbelai and Tim's right on the back of him. Sorry, cut in here, but Kumbelai now is going to go past his teammate. He's doing he's into 5th. Effect ran completely wide, as if he had, like, some sort of issue. Tim's on the back of him, but Effect now down into 6th. He ran massively wide. It was taking his own track there.
Yeah, whether he just got distracted by something, or did have a controller connection issue, or whatever it would be, but he seems to be going around okay now. He is in 6th place. He's got Tim all over the back of him. All of a sudden, 2 Red Bulls might try and work together to drag their way up the order. Effect did get a penalty not long before that. The gap, the lead of the race is all of a sudden 1.8 seconds. Now, Carsbury has got no warnings whatsoever. Zhao Zhao has got 2. So if Carsbury can start can get closer to Zhao Zhao and put him under a bit of pressure, force him wide, who knows, we might see, might not just see the smooth victory that we were expecting for Zhao Zhao. Tim has managed to get ahead of Effect. He's up in 6th place, the Red Bull down into 7th.
Yeah, Zhao Zhao's got an element of control, I think, over this race, though, at the minute. And with 11.5 laps to go, it's Zhao Zhao out on top, Carsbury 2nd, Mikras in 3rd. And, of course, we have got more action to come for you tomorrow night. It's EML League 1 and EML Premier. It is yourself, I believe, and Aidan Carter taking you through the League 1 action. And then myself and an yet unnamed commentator, who I'll spoil at the end of the race. It's Lemon's in the wall.
Yeah,
Lemon in the wall, coming out through turn 8. He just went completely wide. Left side end plate damage, left wheel come off, and he's out the race. And that's the 6th DNF out on track.
Yeah, I think he was hoping he could just get away with that one in the end after running wide, and just thought he'd keep his foot planted to the floor. And unsurprisingly, there's not a lot of grip on the runoff areas. Not many Formula 1 cars, or any cars in general, go over there. So, disastrous news for him. No full safety car. That's good news for all those that have got the penalties, and probably bad news for Tim, who would have loved to have come into the pits, put a set of the fresh soft tyres on. In fact, he might even end up diving into the pit shortly. Lemon leads the session. We are down to just 9 drivers, so as long as you get to the checkered flag, even if you're not having a fantastic race, like you want to say Dobby and Nipro aren't at this moment in time, everything's working out okay for you. Zhao Zhao, a big winner in that VSC period. He's now 2.5 seconds ahead of Carsbury.
Yeah, he's gained 6, 7 tenths there just off the safety car start alone, but now as Carsbury gets back up to speed, he begins to close back up. DRS is re-enabled and Jaja leads the way.
Oh, Carsbury's lost it!
That's in 3rd and Carsbury's lost it.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Carsbury just somehow, very luckily, holds the car enough to hit the rear tyre on the wall first. And as you know, they're pretty much made out of adamantium, the rear suspension on F1 2020. So he's got away with that with no damage whatsoever. He's down in 4th place, though, just dropping outside of the DRS range. He's going to have to try and regroup. That puts Mikras into 2nd, and crucially for Zhao Zhao, he's now more than 3 seconds ahead, so if he does pick up another warning, shouldn't affect him in this race with 10.5 laps to go.
Yeah, Nicholas has just picked up another 3-second time penalty as well. He's now on 6, Effector's on 6, Nitro on 3 as well. Both the hard runners right down the back of the field. Tim's trying to make giant strides as well on a sort of soft compound tyre, but he's literally hit a DRS wall, is what we can literally say from him out on track, because he is catching Kumbly. Kumbly not within DRS range on the back of Carlsbury, but Tim cannot get through, and Tim nearly lost it coming out through turn 14 there on the exit of 14, and Tim now is under pressure. He's going to have to come into the pit lane surely to put on a new set of tyres, one would imagine, because he's not going to get to the end of the race. If he gets to the end of the race, then, do you know what, I'll give him a high five. Well, you can't really give him a high five, but there we are. Zhao Zhao leads the way. Miklas 2nd, Nicholas in 3rd. 2/3 race distance, and Zhao Zhao is the one controlling this race, and the gap 3.4 seconds. Job made easier, I think, with Carlsbury's mistake.
Yeah, whether Carlsbury's tyres just got a bit cold under the VSC, because I think that might have been the first traction zone he did at green flag. It was just coming out of turn 2. I thought it was an instant retirement. He managed to half catch the car, get it pointing roughly back towards where the track was, and just hit it with the rear. Otherwise, that would have been very possibly at least a front wing off, at worst another retirement, and possibly another safety car as well, getting us down to 8 runners. And he's not got a lot of ERS, neither of the two in front of him, if we're being perfectly honest. So we'll see if he can try to gain his way back onto the pack. Would still get a podium as things stand at the moment because of Nicholas's penalty, but Zhao Zhao is now within a second, and obviously Tim in effect getting dragged along as well. But Tim, I think a couple more laps, he's going to be falling out of this picture, and maybe effect might start putting him under pressure rather than it being the other Red Bull put under pressure from Tim.
Yeah, Tim is the one actually struggling for fuel management as well out on track. 0.51 compared to Zhao Zhao and 0.98, and then it's Mikras and 1.05. So more than 1 lap of fuel pretty much for most of the guys out on track. Nico's got 2 laps of fuel on track, and he will be hoping to try and gain on the back of Dobby towards the end of the race. Tim is going to dive it into the pit lane then. He comes in the German from 6th position. He's going to be right at the back of the field. He's going to be in no man's land when he comes out, but he's going to be crucially, I would imagine, onto another set of soft compound tyres. He should get to the end of the race from this point. 10 laps, so the lap extra, it should be fine for him as he comes in now for a set of softs in the Ferrari. Nicholas, by the way, is right on the back of Mikras in towards turn 1. Doesn't get the move done. Mikras remains in P2 for now. Nicholas in 3rd, Carlsbury 4th, Kimbly in 5th. It's gone a little bit stale, this race, to be honest, like a little bit of stale bread, but there we are. Zhao Zhao leads the way, Miklas in 2nd, Nicholas in 3rd, but Nicholas, though, on the back of Mikras, and he's just warning them that he's there at this stage, but Nicholas does not want to pick up another 3-second penalty, otherwise it's curtains.
No, he's got to hope he can get ahead of Mikras and then pull away, try and put not necessarily Mikras under pressure for those positions, but Carlsbury and Kumbly, who he would drop behind at this moment in time with those 6 seconds of penalties. He wouldn't drop behind effect because he has also got 6 seconds, but without a lot of ERS, he's just sort of clipping when it gets to the important parts of the straight. If he does go into overtake, he can't do a lot on this occasion. And you're right, this race is just started getting a bit dull, which is pretty ironic because this circuit definitely doesn't look as sunny as it did not so long ago. Don't think we're going to be in any danger of seeing any rain. What might be interesting is how far up the order can Tim get. It wouldn't surprise me if he flies up to the back of Nipro, perhaps catching him, maybe even catching Dobby as well while setting the fastest lap. So could be a pretty decent finish for the Ferrari van.
Yeah, Nipro 12.5 seconds though, with hardly any time to gain. He's going to have to try and close in like 2 seconds a lap initially, and I don't think that's possible personally, but you never know. Tim might get onto the back of Nipro. Nicholas certainly getting onto the back of Miklas. He's going to challenge now for P2. Down the inside line he comes. The racing point against the Haas, and he's through. Miklas just lets him go, and Nicholas is through and he's into P2, but Miklas has got a much better run. Coming out through turn 3, now to the left-hander of turn 4, and Zhao Zhao leads the way. Miklas just looks to the outside line to try and warn that Nicholas is probably there still. And Miklas now on the back of Nicholas. Nicholas again running wide. Carlsbury and Kumbly, though, beginning to come back into play. Kumbly was barely within a second there on the back of Carlsbury, but Miklas on the back of Nicholas. And Nicholas and Miklas, I think, going to be the two that are going to be fighting this out. Jess, by the way, in the comment section saying, no, in Russia, this race will be decided on penalties. I totally agree with that. And she's very impressed, as she was expecting more people to get penalties right now, which I'm really surprised in as well. But Cloud beginning to come over the circuit. Mikras and Nicholas the closest fight out on track. Plenty of penalties could still be picked up, though, before the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just trying to look at the moment at the warning situations, because we are able to see that on Taz, Zhao, Nicholas and Mikras and Dobby and Tim are all one warning away from another penalty. So, still, Kumbla, gotta say, he's done a fantastic job keeping it completely clean on warnings over the entire race. If we do see some of the drivers ahead of him get penalties and we see a late safety car, he could be in a fantastic position to get what would be his first podium, I believe, of this season. He's currently in a net 4th place. His best result was 4th in Silverstone in those appalling weather conditions. As further up the field, I just thought for a second there Mikras was going to get close enough to Nicholas, but no, doesn't look like it this time around. He knows, of course, that he doesn't have to worry about that, and he knows that Carlsbury, as both of them have got DRS, probably isn't going to be able to get close enough for an overtake. Because there we go, Tim, fastest lap of the race, 1:31.792, just a casual 2.6 seconds faster than Nipro.
Yeah, he's gained 3 seconds in the last 2 laps, so Tim is gaining about 1.5 seconds per lap on the back of Nipro. Is that enough to try and close back before the end of the race? I doubt it. Mikras is on the back of Nicholas. Nicholas a little bit slow. Coming out through turn 8, now to the double left of turn 9 and 10. But look, the DRS trend beginning to form. Carlsbury, Kumbla and Effect are getting back into play in this as well. Lemon, by the way, saying he had a pit glitch. So pit glitch cost him out the race, and I wonder if that's what caused him a little bit of a crash. Maybe the tyres were minus 200 degrees. Is it that glitch I'm thinking about, or is it something different?
I mean, it's possible. I wonder if it just means for double stack one, because he managed 6 laps on those medium tyres before he retired. On minus 273 degree tyres, you ain't lasting 6 laps, I don't think, especially not at a fairly decent pace, what he was doing. So I think just with double stack caught him out, and it's a shame that that is a thing. Hopefully it won't be on F1 2021. Any of you lucky so-and-sos that have managed to get onto the beta, I'm sure you'll be able to let us know about that one. 6 laps to go. It is getting very dark around here. I don't think, even if it does rain, I don't think we're going to see any change to tyres, as here comes Mikras straight down the inside of Nicholas, straight forward with the DRS, up into 2nd place on track now. And this is the closest Kumbla and Effect have been to the back of the McLaren as well. We can have a really good battle for those final podium positions in the final 6 laps.
I think what we can say with confidence, as long as he doesn't bin it into the wall, is Zhao Zhao's going to win this one. But the battle for the podiums is well and truly on. It looks to me as if it's going to be between Mikras, Carlsbury and Kumbla, because of the penalty situation with Nicholas and Effect both having 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Effect, in fact, having 9 seconds worth of penalties. Nitro's catching Dobby as well. I forgot to mention that. 1.5 seconds out on track. The gap was 3.5 seconds a couple of laps ago. So Nitro beginning to put in the effort to try and close onto the back of Dobby, but Nicholas on the back of the German, on the back of the Dane, running down in towards turn number 13 once again, but not going to be close enough this time around. I think Nicholas and Mikras might be just holding back, but certainly it looks like there's a lot of cloud beginning to go over the circuit. I wonder if that's why Nipro and Dobby went on Tresetta Hard. I did say there could be rain towards the end of the race. I didn't mean it.
But why would you go onto a set of the hards when the mediums are going to make it? It makes absolutely no sense to go onto the hard tyres. The mediums are comfortably going to make this. We'll look at Zhao Zhao. 5 laps to go. His worst tyre is 40% at the moment. Theoretically, he could go at least another 11, 12 laps before he gets a puncture. So, Dobby, I kind of see why, because he started on the mediums. You've got to use 2 types of tyres. That is why I thought they'd come in, do 1 lap on another set, and then come back in on the mediums, because they'd have lost track position, but they'd be a lot closer to the back of the pack than Dobby finds himself now. And Tim, having gone for the 2 stops, he's just got to try and hope. Best he can hope for is 7th place.
Yeah, these skies are looking ominous though now above the circuit. I wonder if Dobby and Nipro have thought, with their Jeff maybe telling them there could be rain at the end of the race, I wonder if they've been told literally it's going to be 5 minutes before the end of the race, which should be towards the end, and it should be the last 2 laps or so where that will happen. But it just remains to be seen how it's all going to unfold out on track. And if the rain begins to fall in the next lap or so, we could possibly get a scenario where it could be Inters against Dries on the final lap of the race, but I don't think, because we've got the time running out, we don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. Nitro, by the way, is on the back of Dobby. I can't believe how quick he's actually caught him now. Dobby is really struggling on those sides, and now Nitro is going to come sailing at him. He's going to use the DRS to great effect, and the overtake mode to great effect as well. Nitro just sailed him around the outside line. His pace has suddenly picked up. I know he's used up like a lot of DRS and a lot of overtake mode, I should say, but Nitro's through and he's into 7th. His pace all of a sudden has just came alive.
Yeah, it was fantastic in qualifying. It's been a bit of a anonymous start to each of the stints, and that's what's cost him. First stint, I'm not sure what it was. Second stint, clearly having a lot less grip on his tyres than those around him is what cost him. But yeah, done a fantastic job the last few laps. He has got 6 seconds of penalties, so he's going to have to go some to get ahead of Dobby in this race. He's going to have to pull out 1.5 seconds a lap. At the front of the field, though, Zhao Zhao's still 7 seconds ahead. He's just living in his own race, as he has been so often this season. Nicholas hasn't gone for another go at Mikras, and there's still Carsby and Kuhnblei behind. Are these drivers going to be content to stay where they are, or are they going to try and go for something in the final 4 laps?
You would imagine they'll go for something in the final 4 laps, because Kuhnblei is catching Carsby as well. Don't forget that about it, and Kuhnblei could be on the podium with Carsby. Speaking of which, he nearly lost it coming out through turn 10. Nearly got caught on the curb. Nicholas is still on the back of Mikras. The sun now beginning to burst through all of a sudden. The clouds here, and it looks like we're going to get no rain whatsoever towards the end of the race. It's Zhao Zhao who leads the way. Mikras in second, but with 3.5 laps to go, Zhao Zhao leads the way. Mikras second, Nicholas in third, Carsby, Kuhnblei are in this fight for second. Effect is the one that has now dropped off. But around the streets of Russia, around this Olympic Park circuit, Zhao Zhao has been dominant, and he can just put that away. Effect has picked up another 3-second time. I think that's now 12 seconds for him. Out on track it is. Tim, by the way, has picked up 3 seconds worth as well. But Nicholas across the line. Is this going to be the time that Nicholas is going to try and come at Mikras? No, Mikras pulls away from him down the straight, which is quite surprising to see. I wonder if he used a little bit of overtake mode to try and bounce off the fact that Nicholas is catching him. Carsby tries to lunge down the inside line as well, in towards turn 1. I get a sense that some of these guys could get desperate towards the end of the race.
Yeah, Kuhnblei's looking like he might try one down the inside of turn 4 here to get onto the podium. It's like Raikkonen and Bottas from a few years ago, but Carsby holds on to that one around the outside, and I wonder if Carsby picked up a warning. No, if Kuhnblei picked up a warning going for that. Yeah, Carsby went for a bit of a half-hearted move into turn 2, and that compromised his line, and Kuhnblei all of a sudden thought that he saw an opportunity. I thought he was going to take it, to be perfectly honest, just couldn't quite go aggressive enough on the brakes, but that has dropped Carsby outside of DRS range and might just give the Red Bull driver the chance he needs to get his first podium. Nicholas, meanwhile, is closing up to the back of Mikras. We've got 2 pretty much battles here for different position. Carsby's running low on his ERS. Defends to the inside, there's nothing he can do. Kuhnblei round the outside, there's contact between the two of them, a bit more wheel banging. That's just going to cost him even more time and bring effect into the fray. But yeah, I thought Kuhnblei would get that move done easily, but Carsby fantastically late on the brakes. It does look like he's struggling more weirdly despite having the fresher tyres.
Yeah, he is weaving slightly, I think, maybe to say sorry to Kuhnblei with that bit of contact. Once the penultimate lap of the race, and Zhao Zhao leads. Mikras in second, Nicholas in third. Nicholas now getting on the back of Mikras. He is going to go for this move this time around. I think it's a lap too early, though. Nicholas de-racing down the straight, but he is going to get the move down the inside line in towards turn number 2 and gets the job done. So Zhao Zhao leads the way. It's Nicholas in second. Mikras has a much better run, though, coming out through turn 3 once again. And now for the left-hander of 4, Carsby, Kuhnblei, and Effect. Effect is somehow still in this, even though he's got 12 seconds worth of penalties. He's going to be right down at the back of the field. He suddenly now came onto the back of Carsby, Kuhnblei, and those guys are now fighting out for 4th.
Yeah, amazingly, with 12 seconds of penalties, he's only going to lose 1 position to Dobby.
Wow.
Because Nipro's got 6 seconds and Tim's about 12 seconds behind him and has a penalty as well, so it's not actually going to cost him too much. Nicholas just getting a bit wide through turn 9 there, so that might have given Mikras a chance to close up. Carsby's got back within DRS range, so things might calm down between him and Kuhnblei. We said this second part of the race has got a bit more quieter. They seem to be livening it up right at the end. And all this is happening, of course. Zhao Zhao's completely oblivious. He's pretty much at the Sochi airport or heading towards the beach, of course, on the Black Sea here. He's just having a nice little time of it at the moment. 8.7 seconds ahead. Perpetuum was the only driver who could keep close with pace, but he got a lot of penalties. Then crashed out the race, of course. Final lap.
He did, and Zhao Zhao leads the way onto the final lap of the race. He is dominant once again, going for a 5th win and a 5th podium this season, and a 2nd pole position to boot, and possibly as well going for maybe the Grand Slam. Tim, by the way, is caught at the back of Dobby right on the final lap of the race. I was wrong in saying that he would not catch the back of Nipro and Tim at least, but he's now on the back of Dobby. Niklas not close enough down in towards turn 1. Is Tim going to be close enough on the back of Dobby down in towards turn 1? You bet he will. He's going to absolutely sail past him even before turn 1 here. Tim is through, and it's as if he's just joined the race. Tim is through, and he's into P8 and runs over the Sausage Cup. I don't think he cares, to be honest. Can he catch Nipro, though? Final lap.
I don't think he really needs to, does he? He's only got 3 seconds of penalties at the moment, so he'll get jumped by Dobby, but he will jump Nipro, so he will end up still staying in this 8th position. Nicholas might be second out on track. He is going to fall down, though, into 5th position. The gaps between the top two have sort of stretched. We thought Nicholas might have gone a lap early, but in the end, Mikras hasn't been able to keep with him, and now that Carlsberg's got DRS, Kuhnblai hasn't been able to stay close as well. Zhao Zhao, he's into the final few corners. A 5th victory of the season, 60-plus points ahead in the championship. I can't see it being anything but a coronation at Mexico.
Yep, Zhao Zhao coming through the final 2 corners, and I wonder how many times we've said this season, this season, Zhao Zhao through the final corner to win, this time in Russia, and absolutely spins the car in donut fashion, comes across the line to win. Niklas is going to be across the line in second, but he is going to be on. There's a massive crash coming across the line, and more crashes, and Miklas finishes up second. Cosby third, Kuhnblai is in 4th. He missed out on a podium. Niklas then in 5th in the end, Effect down in 6th. Nipro across the line in 7th. I don't think Effect's going to lose a position, possibly. As Dobby, I think, getting up to 6th there, if I'm not mistaken, but remains to be seen. Nipro all the way down in 9th, which suggests that fact, and Nipro is going to run into the back of the Red Bull. And Driver of the Day, awarded by the F1 game, is F1 Dobby.
Yeah, but I think there can't be too many people who we decide for our driver of the day. There's one man who kept it clean on penalties, pole position, got a victory by about 9 seconds in the end. Zhao Zhao, it was just another superb performance. And I said it last time out, this kid's going far in league racing. Do not be surprised if in a couple of years' time he's in the Challengers.
Oh, he will. He will for sure. And do I neatly come in on EML Premier tomorrow night? I don't know. Zhao Zhao, though, has won, and whether or not we see him in the F1 Challenger Series, of course, remains to be seen. And if he does, then good luck to him, because he is a kid with a bright, bright future. Zhao Zhao out on top. Miklas in second. If that was IFR tomorrow night in EML Premier, they would have picked up a 1-2. Whether they pick up that, though, is a different thing. Cosby in 3rd, Kuhnblai in 4th, Niklas in 5th, Dobby in 6th, Effect in 7th, Tim in 8th, Nipro in 9th, Lemon in 10th, Den Dave and Perpetuum. Only 9 finishes in the end. Lemon, Den Dave, Perpetuum, Rick, Imedy and Chapelletti. Chapelletti didn't even make it around the first lap, and all of those guys DNFing. Tim picked up the fastest lap of the race as well. But Zhao Zhao wins, Miklas second, Cosby in 3rd. I'm sure the top 3 are going to be invited in for their interviews, but we have got an exclusive announcement to come for you for EML Premier tomorrow night. EML League 1, of course, is taking place at 7 p.m. tomorrow. EML Premier tomorrow night. I'm lead commentator. Joining me in the commentary box, Mr. F1 Esports Challengers himself, Mr. Kieran McGinley.
Yeah, indeed. We've managed to convince Kieran to come back for one night only for now. I think Maze is still in his DMs every week, trying to get him to come back full time. But yes, for now, one night only. Kieran making his farewell on League Racing TV. But yeah, as we said, don't be surprised if he's back in the future.
Don't be surprised if he's back in the future. And honestly, it will be like rekindling an old flame, I think, in terms of the commentary box. But Zhao Zhao wins, Mikras second, Cosby in 3rd. The top 3 are getting in. Before the top 3 do come in, though, I think we're just going to have to say it, aren't we? In 3, 2, 1, Zhao Zhao.
Zhao Zhao. Jeff, I mean,
we
can
don't
you
need
argue?
to explain.
Like,
we don't need to explain.
I mean, we saw some pretty decent moves from other drivers, but there was the odd mistakes. It's not like it was a really scrappy race, but quite a few different moves. Thankfully, there didn't seem to be too many incidents between different cars outside of lap one. It got a bit messy between the two Ferraris, Kuhn and I think there was someone else involved in that. It might have been Amadei, but yeah, he did a fantastic job again. I'm just going to tick it up on the TELS system what the points gap is between himself and I think it is still Carlsberg. Yeah, it's 64 points.
Wow.
A win next week and the championship is over.
64 points, and Zhao Zhao is on the cusp of possibly doing what no Dane has ever done in TTML, and that is win a championship. And Zhao Zhao will come across to you first. First of all, well done on the win. A very dominant performance. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, thank you. It was quite a not easy race, but not much happened. So it was more about at the start of the race, the first 10 laps, and then pulling away, making sure I stay in the lead on the first lap, and then Perpetuum overtook, I think, which I didn't care about, so I could just stay behind him. And then I saw he got a penalty, and then I knew that I could just stay behind him for the whole race and then still win. But then I decided to overtake again because I think he used some of his ERS and then he didn't have so much pace. But then he spun behind me, and the safety car came out, and I pitted for the mediums and went to the end with no problems.
Well, I was going to say, the safety car, I think, really helped you in getting this win tonight, but your driving, honestly, has just been so consistent over the last few weeks or so here in TTML. I think there's only been one occasion where you haven't turned up this season, and that's because you had football, I think. And it's just remarkable. Jess has said she's given you driver of the day in the comment section as well. Just talk us through how you feel going into Mexico next week.
I'm not a man of many feelings, so I don't feel that much. But let's see. It's next week, so there's still many days too. So I'm not thinking about that at the moment.
No, never think about it. Never pressure yourself into possibly thinking that the impossible might happen. That's, I think, pretty much that. Luke, any questions?
Yeah, congratulations, Zhao Zhao.
Thank you.
Another victory for yourself, 5th one of the season. Looking ahead to F1 2021, would you, because I know you use automatic gears, or have done earlier in the season, is that something you're looking to change so you'd be eligible for TTML Premier on the next game?
I mean, when I'm done with this season, I'm taking a break, first of all. And then, of course, I'm still probably going to play the game, but I don't know about the dropping assists and stuff like that. So, yeah, let's see. Never say never.
Never say never indeed. Congratulations again, Zhao Zhao. A brilliant performance, and we'll see what the next race has in store.
Yes.
I've kind of asked already my final question, so we'll move on to Mikras, who finished, of course, at P2. And Mikras, your second podium of the season, a really good drive from you. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, thank you. Pretty happy. Quali didn't quite go as planned because I only set one lap, and thankfully it was not enough for P4. But yeah, of course, would like to be a bit better. The race, I didn't think I had that much pace, to be honest. Carlsberg behind me was at least quite a lot faster than me. But yeah, he made a couple of mistakes, which helped me quite a lot in getting this P2. So I'm quite happy overall.
Yeah, very happy, I would say, overall. And certainly going into Mexico, it's obviously going to be a key focus for you. But just talk us through that safety car period, because I believe you either Did you jump anyone on the safety car period?
Yeah, Carlsberg got held a lot, I saw, which is really unfortunate. But that's just how the game is, unfortunately. So I jumped him, and then pretty much stayed at P2 the rest of the race. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say more. You nearly caught us with
I
yawn
thought
there
as
as well. I'll pass you over to Luke. Any questions?
Yeah, congratulations on your best result of the season. Second podium in a row. In your first 3 races this season, you got 34 points. In your last 3 races, you've got 54 points. Is there anything you've changed in the way you prepare, or did you always feel like these good performances would come eventually?
I knew I had more pace than I showed in the first couple of races. The first race, I would say I was pretty unlucky. I got caught in some other guys crashing, and I can't really remember the second race. But I always felt like I've had a bit more pace than the first couple of races have showed.
Yeah, but I do seem to remember actually, Silverstone, you were looking pretty good for a podium there. I'll hand you over to James in case he's got any more questions.
Yeah, one question. How do you feel going into Mexico next week?
Oh, not very good, to be honest. I'm on pad, and it's not really the best circuit for that. And it's not really a track I enjoy driving in general, to be honest. So not really looking forward to it. But hopefully a decent result, so I maybe can fight for the top 3 in the standings.
Yeah, if you get a decent result, it'll put you certainly in the mix for the top 3. So well done on tonight. And we'll move on to Carlsbury, of course, finished in P3. And Carlsbury, your first podium, I believe, this season, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's your second podium, I should say, this season. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of a messed up quali. Didn't manage to match my PB. And the race start was good. I jumped the Alpha Tower. And got past Mikros. But then in the safety car period, I got held. And after that, I managed to pass him again. And I almost spun. I was facing the wall, but I managed to cover it and lose some time and got stuck behind Niklas and Mikros. So just trying to recover after that.
Yeah, talk about that wall moment for us, because Luke caught it on stream. I didn't catch it in particular on stream, but Luke caught it on stream. Just talk us through that moment, because it must have been quite scary.
Yeah, you can imagine if you're just sideways facing the wall, just trying to turn in and. But the barrier just ends there, so the second one starts later. So I managed to flip the car over, so I managed to not hit the wall.
I'm glad you did, because you wouldn't have been on the podium otherwise, to be honest. Luke, any questions?
Similar question to what I asked Mikras, to be honest, but over a bit of a longer time period. Because last game, you were teammates with Perpetuum. He ended up taking the championship, and you were towards the bottom half of the order. Whereas in this season, you're now challenging, you're beating him at the moment for second place in the championship again. Do you think that's anything you've changed, or did results last season just not go your way?
Well, I think it's just consistency, because I had many DNFs. I had the pace, but didn't manage to finish races. Now I think I have managed to finish every race, and sometimes in the podium. So just inconsistency, managing to grab the all points that are possible.
Yeah, consistency definitely the name of the game in a league like TTML, when you pretty much get points for every finishing position. I'll hand you back over to James then.
Yeah, final question from me. Of course, Mexico next week. How do you think you're going to get on?
Well, I don't actually remember at all what my test is, but if I remember correctly, it's a kind of tough one. But we will see.
We will see indeed. Thank you very much, Carlsbury. And that concludes the interviews, and that concludes the live stream as well tonight for TTML Division 1. We really hope you've enjoyed the action that we provided for you out on track, and we really hope that you've enjoyed yourself in our company tonight. Of course, we've already awarded our Driver of the Day to Jojo, so well done to Jojo on getting our Driver of the Day. That Driver of the Day vote, of course, will go forward into the main Driver of the Day vote, into the graphic for all 5 divisions. But if you thought we weren't going to whet your appetite even further, then be wrong, because we are. It is, of course, EML Premier and EML League 1 tomorrow. EML alongside Aiden and Luke, of course, at 7 PM tomorrow night. 8:30, of course, for myself and Kieran McGinley taking you through the action. And then, of course, we return on Thursday, TTML Division 2 and Division 3. It is myself and Mike Edwards and Aidan Carter and Conti taking you through Division 3. Division 4, well, I'm back again for Division 4 with Paco. And then alongside James Boyle in the commentary box for Division 5, of course, is Pariah. So that's what you've got to look forward to for the stream. CWC, of course, taking place next Monday as well. And tomorrow night is the final EML races, so we get to see who is going to be coming out on top in both League 1 and in the Premier Division tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that, 7 PM and 8:30 as I say. But thank you so much for tuning in, and please stay safe in this crazy world we all live in. I forgot I've been James Head, there we are.
I mean, it might be smoother when you're doing it with Kieran tomorrow, we'll see. I've been Luke Etheridge.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Shawty, summer fine. I saw you right up in the summertime. I tried to make you mine, it wouldn't work. Put in work, I had to push you first. I lost my mind, went berserk. I feel like Uzi Vert. Vivian Westwood chain hanging right around my neck. Balenciaga kicks 44 when I step. Summer fine. I saw you right up in the summertime. But now I stay inside all the time, wasting away waiting for you to call one more time. Without you here, can't sleep, can't breathe. I need you here, right next to me. Thoughts in my head, racing. We can't go on like this anymore. I'm done with the games we're playing. I'm over it. So I had to let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Hey, yeah, I gotta let you go. Yeah, I gotta let you go. Wait, yeah, I gotta let you go. I've been up for 3 nights. My eyes are bloodshot red. Damn, I wanna see the sunshine.